being here. I'm Jason Parent, the Maine International President for the 2014 World Acadian Congress. It's a pleasure to have all of you gathered here today for what I think is a very significant announcement that our Secretary of State, who is joining us on the telephone, could not be here in person because of the weather and the drive up. He was actually in Bangor last night with every intention of making it the rest of the way here, but the traffic on the interstate was quite slow today, so he's actually joining us from Augusta, and he'll explain about the World Acadian Congress license plate in just a minute. But we are here today to unveil it, and this is essentially a very significant announcement for us because I think it's truly indicative of the World Acadian Congress and the significance of the Congress here in the state of Maine. This will be the largest event to come to the St. John Valley since the Fish concerts that were held in the late 1990s and early 2000s. It's expected, as many of you have heard and know, to draw 50,000 plus visitors from around the world here to l'Acadie des Terres et Forêts, this new international region that we created to put in our bid to host the World Acadian Congress, and that will have significance moving forward even after the World Acadian Congress comes. In addition to northern Maine, it is comprised of northwestern New Brunswick and the neighboring regions of Quebec. The project itself, the World Acadian Congress, will have an estimated economic impact of over $50 million, and those numbers come from the past two World Acadian Congresses. They were actually realized numbers. And so with the number of family reunions we have coming to this region, I have no doubt that that number will be exceeded here in this region. It's especially significant for all of us here in Maine, as I just noted, as approximately half, or just more than half perhaps, of 120 total family reunions will be held here in the northern Maine sector of l'Acadie des Terres et Forêts. To host an event of this magnitude requires the contributions of very many individuals. People throughout the region are mobilizing and things are happening. In addition to family reunions, community events, cultural activities, sporting contests, and various workshops, there are a number of community activities and fun things that will happen from August 8th through 24th, 2014 being planned. This event, as you can well imagine, also requires significant funding. We're very pleased that the state of Maine has contributed $1 million. The provinces of New Brunswick and Quebec have also provided funding, as has the Canadian federal government, who have all been asked to contribute. To date, we have been unsuccessful or unable to secure the U.S. federal contribution of $1 million, which makes today's announcement that much more impactful to us. It is in part to help mitigate this shortfall that former State Representative John Martin proposed the legislation to create a special commemorative license plate to both raise awareness and needed funds to support the 2014 World Acadian Congress. Former Representative Martin will address us in just a moment, but first I'd like to recognize some other dignitaries in the room. Two of the co-sponsors of the bill, Senator Troy Jackson of Aroostook County and Representative Ken Terrio of here in Madawaska of District 2, were co-sponsors on that bill, so thank you, gentlemen, for being here. State Representative Bernard Ayotte of Van Buren Caswell was also a co-sponsor of that bill, as was former Senate President Kevin Ray. So we had some pretty heavy hitters on this bill. I also want to acknowledge who will be speaking with you a little bit later, the President of the Maine Credit Union League, or the Chair of the Board of the Maine Credit Union League, Dave Rossignol, and the President of the COCMAR, or the World Acadian Congress, Monsieur Emilien Nadeau. Bienvenue, Monsieur Nadeau. We also have with us the Maine Regional President, Mr. Norman Sear. Several of the regional committee delegates are also with us, as are our international committee members. Lise Tensier of Fort Kent is with us, Romeo Parent and George Duma are international committee members for the World Acadian Congress, and there are a number of regional committee members in the room as well, so thank you all for being here. We do, at this point, want to invite State Representative John Martin to come forward, and he's going to talk to you about the creating of this legislation and what it actually means before we have the Secretary of State talk about the sort of the mechanics of the license plate from his perspective and how it will go moving forward. So John, please come forward and share some thoughts with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome all. And I'd like to say that it was a great thought that occurred to me, and it was all one of those things that happened in the middle of the night. But what happened, and to tell you how it all happened, and it was happened at home, and I'm looking around my office one day, and there are two plates that are there. One was done by the legislature for Aroostook County, and one was done for the bicentennial of the state of Maine. And I said to myself, well, why not? Why can't we do one for this event that's coming forward? And so that was the origin of how I put in the legislation. And of course, it got amended a couple times in the process, in part because the Secretary of State's office wanted it a little different than the way I wanted it. And then the committee decided they wanted to go, they had some problems, so they thought. But we finally evolved on a compromise, which we have before us today. So the event today allows us to have the plate on the front of your vehicle through 2014, and hopefully if people forget, you know, we leave it on for a while until, say, police say maybe you need to take it off. But what it does is that it's going to be the opportunity for everyone throughout the state of Acadian or French descent or anyone else who loves the St. John Valley can have an opportunity to make a statement and have it on the front of their vehicle. And if we sell enough of them, I notice there's a sign there that says 6,000. I believe we want to exceed that number and provide us even more money to make us available. But I don't want to make this too lengthy, but I just want to say that it was something that, you know, I was just thinking out loud and looking at something maybe it instills you to provide an opportunity to bring this forward. And I'm very pleased that we brought it to fruition, and now we have an opportunity to all wear the plate as soon as the plates arrive. Thank you, Jason.
And now we'll hear from Secretary of State Charlie Summers, again, who joins us via telephone, who will talk about the actual World Acadian Congress plate before we unveil it. So Secretary of State Summers.
Jason, look, thank you very much. And again, I am very, very sorry that I'm not there personally today. I would much rather be up in the valley than down here in Augusta. But nevertheless, I'm very happy to be able to join you, at least by telephone. And I think that Representative Martin kind of really hit the right notes. I mean, this is something that could celebrate the Acadian heritage, and for all those in Maine who feel so connected, I think that this is a wonderful way to not only raise funds, but to recognize our heritage in this. And, you know, Representative Martin mentioned just a moment ago that this is actually of huge significance, because this is the first commemorative license plate issued by the state of Maine since we celebrated our bicentennial. So that, you know, I think it is a sign that our entire state, the state of Maine, recognizes the magnitude of the World Acadian Congress. And, you know, when you look at the mechanics of the plate, like Jason mentioned, you know, this is a commemorative license plate, so it's different than the official license plates issued by the state, which support various causes like agriculture, the University of Maine, or breast cancer, or conservation. This will not have any numbers or letters on its face, and so, like Representative Martin mentioned, it can't replace the legally issued plates. But the legislation that was passed to create this, you know, which was mentioned and was sponsored not just by Representative Martin, but by Senator Jackson, who I know is there, and Representative Terrio, who I worked with in the Transportation Committee, and Representative Ayotte, and Senator Ray, and again, Representative Martin. This legislation will allow the World Acadian Congress plate to be placed over the face of the existing legal plate on the front of the vehicle. And as an aside, one of the reasons that the state public safety officials asked that the plate be placed over the face of the motorist's existing plate, front plate, was as a result of the lesson learned in the 1970s, because when it came time to take off the bicentennial plate, apparently after that plate has expired, a high number of Maine legal plates had to be reissued because so many individuals had misplaced their front plate. So thankfully someone with a little bit of historical knowledge remembered that, and it's going to save all of us who purchased one of these from having to purchase or get new plates again after 2015. And you know, it's mentioned that in 2015 the plate does expire, but it can remain visible on the front of the plate of registered vehicles up until that time. And I should point out that only 6,000 of these plates have been produced, so this is truly a limited edition. And it's exciting that the plates are going to be available for sale today. And I know that for the past several months, the World Acadian Congress, and everyone that Representative Martin mentioned has been working to kind of design this special license plate. So I'm sure everyone in the room there is wondering what the plate looks like. So I think it's time then that we can take the cloak off of that and show everyone what this wonderful, wonderful plate looks like.
If you want to go on that side, John. We're in Ken and Troy. Mr. Nadeau and Dean, if you want to come join me on this side, we're in Troy. I don't want this. Okay.
Ready?
Ready?
There's two comforting zones.
Does this need to be?
It's really simple.
Make out. Sorry. What's up, Gaudi?
Hey!
John, we can put that down and in it here.
We did manage to get them to put that very small way.
And it is, as the Secretary of State mentioned, and thank you very much, Mr. Secretary of State, for joining us today. It is, as he mentioned, expiring, as it notes there on the bottom of the plate, on December 31st, 2015. So much like the goal and the work that's being done currently with the World Acadian Congress to ensure that there's a legacy, the plate will be around a full year after the World Acadian Congress is over. And we hope that that will help to not only bring wonderful memories of the World Acadian Congress, but also bring to mind the enduring legacy that we hope results from this in terms of the economic development and cultural development of our region collaboratively with New Brunswick and with Quebec. The plate itself will cost $25, and the cost for the state to produce each plate is $9. Now, under the legislation, $16 from the sale of each plate gets to be retained by the World Acadian Congress, but as Mr. Rossignol will explain in just a moment, the Maine Credit Union will also have a part in this, and we're very excited about that. We looked at the design, the members of the Maine International Committee, as well as our marketing director, Sano. There were 3 different options that we looked at, and the other 2 had much more to them than this. And we selected this design primarily based on its simplicity, which is just simply the logo of the World Acadian Congress. Our slogan in English, there's a French and an English version of the slogan, L'Acadie du Monde in French and Acadia of the World in English. And then added the website address up the side, because we really felt that we wanted this license plate to serve as a driver for folks to come and get more information about the World Acadian Congress. So the design itself was purposely kept simple for folks who are driving by at a high rate of speed or who are seeing it in the parking lot at a distance. We didn't want a lot of detail in it and wanted to really get the message out, because we intend to be the most electronically connected World Acadian Congress. So the website will have significant impact. It already does. If you've been on it, it has a countdown clock which will tell you right to the second how far off we are from the start of the World Acadian Congress. It makes me completely nervous to go on our website, because I'm realizing we're running out of time, and it ticks, it just keeps ticking. Now about how you can get your hands on these. It is indeed available online at the CMA's official souvenir site on the US side of the border, along with a number of other great souvenirs that are on that site. The sales will be especially convenient for those people living outside of the state of Maine, and there are many who want to get their hands on this plate. Don Levac, one of our Maine Regional Coordinating Committee members and the vice chair of that committee, confirmed that he has been getting calls from people who have been looking for license plates that live outside of the state. But more importantly, and I think more conveniently for folks living in Maine and around these parts, I'm pleased to announce or to introduce Dave Rossignol, the president of the Maine Credit Union League, or the chair of the board of directors of the Maine Credit Union League, to share with us an exciting partnership that the World Acadian Congress has begun as of today with the Maine Credit Union League. So, Dave.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for taking the time on this
beautiful sunny day for this. I extend greetings on behalf of the Maine Credit Union League and welcome you here. North State is very pleased to host this event, as well as having been a key partner at the table of the World Acadian Congress since the very beginning. We've been a key part of the effort and provided the World Acadian Congress with donated space in this facility for a year as they were establishing their main office. And we hosted many of the organizational meetings for many months. North State's marketing director, Denise Cody, has been a key player in the World Acadian Congress since the very beginning, volunteering many, many hours. As president and CEO of North State and the chair of the Credit Union League, I recognize the significance of the World Acadian Congress and its potential not only to be a key cultural event, but one that spurs significant economic development in this region. The Maine Credit Union League is very pleased to support and partner with the World Acadian Congress. It truly has an impact statewide. Maine has the second highest, second only to New Hampshire, percentage of Franco-Americans in the nation, and many of those Franco-Americans are members of credit unions. In fact, many credit unions throughout the state were started in churches by Franco-American people. The vibrant culture is clearly evident in St. John Valley and in the Acadians, but it's celebrated every day throughout the state. I'm also pleased to announce that Maine Credit Unions will be the official distribution source for the World Acadian Congress commemorative license plate, and they go on sale today at many participating credit unions throughout the state. As was noted earlier, the state will retain $9 from the sale of each plate. The remaining $16 in proceeds have been designated to support the efforts of the World Acadian Congress. As part of our partnership with the WAC, Maine organizers have in turn partnered with us to support a key project that the Maine Credit Unions participate in every year. It's the Maine Credit Union Campaign for Ending Hunger. For every plate sold in Maine, credit unions will keep $1 of the proceeds to support that campaign. So it truly is a good partnership. This is by no means the only involvement in Maine Credit Union Leagues, Maine Credit Unions, in fact, throughout the state. The Maine Credit Union League intends to contribute both financially and in other ways to support the World Acadian Congress in the coming months. We'll announce how that credit union's participation will significantly support the economic development and cultural event, the likes of which northernmost part of our state has never seen and probably will not see again for a long time. Our member credit unions in this region have also come to the table to help ensure the 2014 World Acadian Congress goes off without a hitch. The involvement of Acadia Federal Credit Union and North State in the planning stages has already been very significant, and we appreciate all those efforts. We look forward to this exciting time in our region's history, and we thank the partners, and in particular the participating credit unions throughout the state, who agreed to help in this very worthwhile effort. So again, thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much, Dave. As I noted earlier, if we can sell these 6,000 plates, it will have added $90,000 to support the organization and activity here in Maine, so that is extremely significant. But more importantly, it will provide us with statewide visibility for our project, and we anticipate that many Franco-Americans in some of the pockets of Lewiston, Biddeford, Saco, Auburn, Augusta communities further south from us, in addition to here in the St. John Valley, will have interest in purchasing these plates. So the partnership with the Maine Credit Union League is a significant one for us to ensure that the plates are available statewide. By the way, they will make wonderful Christmas gifts, and that's why we made sure that this announcement will happen before the holidays. The weather did us in terms of actually getting them here too, but we do have one here. This is actually one of the mock-ups that was provided for us by the state of Maine. But these will be available hopefully tomorrow. They'll be here at North State in Acadia tomorrow and available for sale. And again, for out-of-state folks, you can certainly get it.
What if you auction that off?
What's my bid for that?
I don't know. This was a prototype that they sent to us. I don't know if it is. Yeah, we'd like. What's my starting bid on this? Actually, Norman, you'll owe it to Norman Sear because this was his car. Hey, make the checks payable to Norman Sear. They were sent out this morning. So hopefully it'll be in place tomorrow.
I'm willing to pay for it, Norman.
Before we close, I would certainly like to thank Mr. Dave Rossignol and his entire staff here, especially Denise Cody, who's made this presentation possible here today. John Martin, of course, and the co-sponsors who are present with us here today. Thank you very much for your support. Of course, Secretary of State Summers who joined us. Monsieur Nadeau, un gros merci pour vous pour être ici de Québec aujourd'hui. Monsieur Nadeau vient de Ville de Julie, Québec. On a eu une rencontre hier soir. C'était une rencontre, puis il travaillait pour toute la journée pour le Congrès mondial acadien, puis il était ici encore aujourd'hui. C'est quasiment un emploi pour lui, comme c'est pour Lorraine Chrétien. Lorraine, our regional coordinator, thank you so much for all your support, and to the Maine Cockma 5 and members of the MRCC here, and to Monsieur Martinasino, and to France, whose last name I never pronounce right, so I won't even try to. Thank you all for your help, and thank you all very much for being here today. This is a very significant day as we head towards 2014 for the World Acadian Congress, one that has been acknowledged now statewide, and will be able to be seen on the front of everyone's cars beginning shortly. And I'm just anxious to see what kind of patterns the mosquitoes make on it as we move forward this summer. But for now, it'll be hitting snowflakes. So thank you very much, and thank you all for being here.